guys, so today's makeup tutorial is going to be on a client. I have the beautiful Miss Kinley here with me. I'm starting out with the Garnier Micellar Cleansing Water on a small cotton round, and I'm just going to begin by cleansing her face to remove any dirt or oil. Then taking the Dual Effects Moisturizer, this is an Up & Up brand from Target of course, I'm just taking this on a stippling brush and I'm using this as a moisturizer all over her face. Then going in with the Too Faced Hangover Primer, I'm taking this on a larger stippling brush and I'm just going to also apply this all over as a primer before makeup. Next, to prep the lids, I'm taking the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. Any light shade will do for this step. This is just going to prep her eyes, so I'm just going to blend this out right here on her lids, and then I'm going to go in with a small little beauty blender and blend this out. After that, I'm going to set her lids with the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. The reason I do this is because I want the lids to be very smooth when I go in with the eyeshadow next. So now I'm going in with my 35N palette from Morphe Brushes. I'm taking this shade right here and using this as my first transition shade. I'm going to focus it on the outer corner of her eyes and just blend it kind of all over her lid, but more so on the outer corner, as you can see. If you want to go for a more darker or intense eye makeup look, I would recommend going in with a little bit darker of a shade, but because I'm going to keep it pretty neutral today, I'm just going to be using this light shade. For the second shade, I'm going to be taking this darker, more of a burnt orange color right here in the same palette, focusing that on the outer corner of her lids. If you're just getting into makeup or starting to experiment with eyeshadow, my biggest tip I can give you is to make sure you blend, blend, blend. You'll notice that I'm taking a lot of time just being patient and blending out these colors. I took even longer than what I'm actually showing you, but I didn't want to make this video like 40 minutes long, so let's move on. The third shade I'm going to be taking is a dark brown shade. This is from the 35P palette, which is also a Morphe palette. I'm focusing this right in the same spot that I put the second color, but it's just more of a darker brown, so it's just going to darken up her lids and give her more of that sexy, sultry look to her eyes. And then of course you'll just repeat the same step on the other eye. For shadow number 4, I'm going to be taking this dark brown shade in this same 35P palette right here. I'm going to just lightly tap on this shadow on the outer corner of her eyes, and it's really not so much of a blending motion, just tapping that color on there. And since my camera recorded a great angle of my hair, I thought I would take the time to show you guys who does my hair here in Modesto. Her name is Natalie Clark, and she's very, very talented. So if you guys are looking for a new hairstylist, I definitely recommend her. And now you'll see I'm going back in with that shadow brush, and I'm going to now blend out that darker color. Next, I'm going to be taking any pencil black liner that you have will do just fine. I'm taking this liner and I'm going to be placing it on her lash line, and then I'm going to be going over it with Urban Decay's Blackout Shadow. If you're looking for a very, very, very dark black shadow, then this is definitely the one I recommend. This shadow is so black, it's unreal. And you'll notice when I placed that liner on her lid, I was definitely not precise about it. It doesn't really matter if it's kind of messy because you're going to be going over it with a black shadow anyway. And you'll just see now I'm just kind of smoking it out on her lash line. If ever I'm putting lashes on a client, I definitely always put a black liner on her lash line just because it makes everything blend a whole lot better compared to not having any liner or shadow. Next, I'm going in with ColourPop's Super Shock Shadow in the shade Amaze. I'm going to be placing this shadow on her lid with my finger. If you guys have any of the Super Shock shadows, like say that 5 times fast, it's so hard. If you have any of these shadows and you use a brush, you may notice that not a lot of it gets picked up on the lid. So I definitely will go in with my finger first just because you get a lot more pigment out of it, and then I'll take, as you can see, this brush and just kind of put some shadow around the areas where I couldn't reach because of my nail. Then taking this Voluminous Lash Paradise Mascara from L'Oreal, I'm going to be taking it on a disposable mascara wand and just placing this on her lashes. I'm going to get really real with you guys for a second. If you guys are makeup artists and you are not using disposable mascara wands, stop what you're doing. It is so, so crucial and important to not be using the wand that comes with the actual mascara tube on a client. It is 100% so unsanitary, and it's not good. It's disgusting. The same goes for if you are getting your makeup done, please ask your makeup artist to be using a disposable mascara wand. I have seen so many quote-unquote professional makeup artists make this mistake, and it is so important that you are sanitary throughout this whole process. Then I'm going to quickly pop on some lashes. These are the Kiss lashes in the style Flirty. And I'm going to be using Too Faced Born This Way foundation, and this is in the shade Warm Nude. You'll notice what I do first is I test it on their jawline just to make sure the color matches, and I'm going to blend this out with the Beauty Blender to just kind of make sure 100% that that color is good for her, and then I will apply the foundation to the rest of her face. If your client wants more of a full coverage foundation, definitely stick with the brush application versus switching over to the Beauty Blender. A brush application is going to give you way more of a full coverage than using a Beauty Blender will, but because Kinley has really good skin, you can tell, obviously, I'm just going in with my Beauty Blender and blending out that foundation for her. The thing you can do if your client needs more full coverage is go back in with just a brush in the areas where it's needed. Next is one of my favorite steps of makeup application on anybody. I'm going in with the Tarte Shape Tape Contour Concealer. You'll notice that I'm taking the concealer on the same brush that I kind of tested out that foundation with. I love the coverage that this concealer gives with a brush application. Like I said, it's very full coverage. So I'm just going to be placing that underneath her eye, and then I'm going to go back in and blend that out with her Beauty Blender. If you guys have not tried out this concealer yet, do yourself a favor, save up $25, go to Ulta and get this because it is so amazing and you will definitely fall in love. Then I'll be going back in with a Laura Mercier translucent setting powder, and I'm just going to take this on a small brush and put this right over top of the concealer. This is called setting your under eye, and the reason that we do this is because it really helps to prevent any sorts of creasing. So both of these products are very full coverage, so using both of them really helps to conceal any imperfections, and it helps from creasing. And then with this setting powder, what I like to do is focus it in on the T-zone area. So I put it on her forehead, a little bit on her nose, and then I'm going to take it on her chin. And then what I'm going to do is go in with a different setting powder, which is this one right here, the NYX Studio HD Studio setting powder. This is also a translucent powder and just gives a beautiful finish to the skin. Then I'm going to be going in with the Benefit Cheek Parade palette, which is such an amazing palette. I'm going to be taking the Hoola bronzer, and I'm going to be using this as her bronzer on her face. Wasn't it so cute how I added that on her face part at the end? Like, no, Anissa, it's going to go on her ankles. Okay. Any fluffy angled brush will do for this step. I love how this color looks on Kinley. She has like the perfect skin tone for this Hoola bronzer, and that palette also has a Hoola light in case your client is more fair. And of course, just repeating that same step on the opposite side of her face. And if you're getting anxiety looking at that unblended line of shadow on her eyes, don't you worry, I'm going to fix that in just a second. And now I'm going to be going in with Makeup Revolution's Pro HD Brow Powder Palette. Wow, what's up with these names today? I'm going to be taking this on an angled brush and just kind of blending that and buffing that out into her brows. I no longer use any type of pomades on my clients because it has resulted in the thinning of your brow hairs. So if you use a pomade like the Anastasia pomade or anything like that, and your brows are thinning and you're like, what the heck is going on? That is perhaps why your brows are thinning, because it is such a thick consistency and it may be pulling out your hairs when you take your makeup off at night. You know, not that you care, but now you know. Then I'm going to be dipping back into the Cheek Parade palette, and I'm going to be mixing California and Dandelion for her blush. You'll notice that it's not too intense of a blush. I kind of liked how her skin just looked bronzy, so I just put a tiny bit on the apples of her cheeks. Then I'm going to be going back into the Morphe 35N palette, taking that burnt orange shade just on a little smudger shadow brush, and I'm just going to run that along her lower lash line just to kind of give her some more smokiness to her eyes. And then I'm going to do it on the other eye, of course. You guessed it. Wow, you're so good. And then I'm going to be dipping back into Urban Decay Blackout Black Shadow, and I'm taking this on a very precise flat liner brush, and I'm just going to be running this along her lower lash lines also. I do this step on almost every client that I can because I love how smoky it looks, and I think the black just adds that extra pizzazz, you know? And then I'm just going to have her look up and go back in with that little smoky, smoked out brush. I don't even know what this brush is called, but you can see what I'm doing. Then taking a fluffy shadow brush, I'm going to go in now and fix those harsh shadow lines that were in the corner of her eyes. And then what I'm going to do is take this Too Faced glitter. I love this glitter. It's so pretty. This came in a little palette that I bought a couple years ago, but I'm just going to take this and pop that glitter in the inner corner of her eyes. And then I'm going in again with that same mascara on a different disposable mascara wand and coating her lower lashes. For the highlight today, I'm going to be using Laura Geller's Gilded Honey. I love this highlight. Just like I say, I love all these products that I use on her, but I do love this highlight. It is so amazing. It's so, so pretty. And doesn't it just complement her makeup look so well? Thank you. And finally, for lips today, I'm going in with the Maybelline Matte Lipstick in the shade number 655. It is called Daringly Nude. I'm just taking that on a little lip brush and applying that to her lips. And aw, you guys, my beautiful friend is done. This is her final makeup look, and then there's, me in the corner. I'm so ugly. Okay, bye. She's so pretty, and I hope you guys really enjoyed this makeup tutorial. If you have not already, please make sure you subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!